What if you could buy a plant, forget about it for weeks, and come back and still find it alive? No, we're not talking about fake plants. We're talking about 7 field-tested, nearly impossible plants to kill. I help homeowners, serious gardeners, and businesses fix lawn, plant, and landscaping problems without wasting money on gimmicks. Oh, and stay to the end because there's a bonus plant you won't believe. Like, subscribe, and let's get into it. What do you say we do something that's really cool and talk about some indestructible plants? Can you imagine that? I mean, you could almost smell the plastic from the flower. No, we're not talking about, we're talking about real plants, not fake plants. Okay, so here are some of indestructible plants. Some of them, actually all of them, you could plant outside, and all of them can be grown indoors one way or another. Let's see what we can do in the time that we have. First and foremost would be the pothos. Yeah, that heart-shaped plant. You know which one I'm talking about. That's the one everybody takes and they take at the office and they put their coffee grounds in, and then the soil starts stinking, and then the plant gets really leggy looking, and sometimes if you go to restaurants, you'll see these things. Not that I ever go to restaurants. And they'll be growing for what seems like miles and miles, and they never repot the plants up. The Epipremnum aureum is the one that I'm talking about. That pothos houseplant, hands down, has different variations on the coloring and the flowering on it. So that's actually something which is really kind of cool too. Not the flowering, but the leaf structure. There's different kind of variegations. So regardless of what you get, this plant really, really takes abuse, and it really can handle bouncing back super easy from not watering to being root bound. Now, speaking of a plant that really takes a lot of abuse, I have my greenhouse half filled with these things, and I give them away all the time. And I don't know, these people that I give them away to, they never say thank you afterwards for some reason. That's because it's the spider plant. The spider plant, which is the Chlorophytum camosum plant, we never hear it, that spider plant, lets off little plantlets. You can plant these little plantlets in some soil while they're still attached to the plant, and then they'll just root. And then you clip off that little stem that was on there, you've got yourself another plant. Really takes a beating. Now, mind you, they'd rather be grown in a half-shade situation. Same with that pothos, by the way. They'd rather be grown in a half-shade situation, but if you put them in full sun, they really get a really ugly light green, and they will burn on you. So I wouldn't suggest that. But it's a plant that just keeps on growing. If you don't look at it, it grows even more. I mean, this is the kind of abuse that it wants. Plant abuse. Are there police that are involved in something like that? I don't know. There's got to be some kind of organization out there. Now, a plant that is really fascinating is the Sansevieria trifasciata, and that is also known as the snake plant. And for those of you who are married, we call it the mother-in-law's tongue, and that's because the top of the plant is really sharp. And so this plant, grown in the ground, in fact, I actually have 2 or 3 of them growing at my mother's house, and I have probably 10 of these plants inside of my greenhouse. But what's really cool about it, it's another plant. It would have a spotted sun, half-shade situation. It is so durable. You forget to water it, it don't care. It takes a lot to kill and to damage this plant, whether it's in a pot or whether it's in the ground. And it just keeps on ticking. That's the best part about this plant. So remember, the snake plant, most people know it as the snake plant or the mother-in-law's tongue plant. Now, another plant that needs to be mentioned over here is the cast iron plant. Yeah, the Aspidistra elatior. Great plant to have, grows in deep shade, can be grown inside, underneath a stairwell, can be grown on your side of the house where it's super dark. If you want to create a bog-like situation, these are perfect plants around a bog. Although they probably won't really favor any water from that because they're a very drought tolerant plant as well. Don't plant them anywhere in the sun. They'll get really yucky looking, but the best part is that they do get a tiny little flower, and getting flowers on plants that are grown in the shade, it's kind of a hard thing to do, but these will get really tiny flowers on it on a long stem. Beautiful for that. Now, if you are familiar with anything in the Hedera family, Hedera plants, they're ground covers. And in particular, we call it ivy. Now, the Hedera helix, Algerian ivy, these plants have got to be possessed because they'll just keep on growing and growing and growing. I remember growing up, to the people who were 2 doors down, we would play ball in our yard, and if a baseball went and got flung into their Hedera helix, into their whole front yard was just that they didn't have any grass, you can kiss that ball away. You were never going to find it. And if you did try to get in there, chances are you're going to come up with a rat or a snake or something like that. So, but the Hedera helix does grow. It's an indestructible plant. That's what we're talking about right here. Plants that could really take the abuse. Use anything in there, whether it's the English ivy or whether it's the needlepoint ivy or whether it's any kind of the Algerian ivy. They all have different shaped leaves. They're all smaller. Those ones I just mentioned have smaller leaves, but they're super, super tough. Just understand that when the Algerian ivy changes as it gets really old, the new leaves morph into a different kind of leaf. You're not even going to recognize it. But one plant you are going to recognize is the jade plant. Oh, that is such a great plant to have. It's got again, it's one that has a lot of abuse. You can forget to water it for the longest of time and then water it a little bit and it just comes right back up. The Crassula ovata, great plant to have. It's also called the lucky plant too. There's a lot of plants that are called the lucky plant. That's why we are using the botanical names here today, so you know exactly what we're talking about. And the other plant, the last one on our list over here, would be yucca. They are yucky. No, they're depends. You can grow them in pots, you can grow them in the ground, they can get ginormously huge, or you can kind of contain them by the pot. Super tough plants, very fibrous. They're able to hold the moisture inside of the plant so well, it's just mind-boggling. Very tough, difficult plant. But the interesting part about the yucca, it doesn't have an invasive root system, where it just has a big bulbous type of root system. And lastly, for our bonus, what about fountain grass? All right, fountain grass can be found on every railroad track across the United States. Now, if you can't beat them, you join them. And what ends up happening is that the nurseries have put them in containers so that you can buy them and put them in your yard.